Welcome to today's English class. Today we are going to read Block 11, The Tale of Peter Rabbit, written by Beatrix Potter. We have already done with S-1, that is Elements of a Fiction Story, isn't it, children? Now we will move on to S-2, that is Sensory Details. So at the end of this particular video, we will be able to use sensory details to visualize a story. So we'll read the story once again and we'll find out the sensory details. Clear? Now let us know what are these sensory details. So we have the 5 senses, isn't it? The first one is sight. Okay, with eyes you see, that is the sight. Next one is hearing. You will hear with your ear. Then taste with your tongue, and touch you will feel. Okay, then smell with your nose. So these are the 5 senses, and we'll come to know how these senses help us to read the poem and how it will be helpful to read a poem also, children. Now we will have one activity. Are you all ready, children? Yes. Now close your eyes and I'll read a story for you. Okay, all of you close your eyes, children. Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Raman went to the store and saw 10 colorfully wrapped lollipops sitting on the shelf. Next to him, 2 little children were fighting for the pink one. Sheila was excited to go for her picnic to the zoo. However, she was worried that Monkey might steal the bananas that her mother gave her. Ratan heard a little girl cry loudly because a dog was chasing around the park. He took a stick and chased it away. Mani bought herself a creamy kulfi to eat in the ice cream parlor, and she loved the icy cream taste on her tongue. Okay, children. So have you all heard this? Yes. What could you see in the story and what could you hear? Okay. Now all of you open your eyes. Now what did you imagine and what did you see? Now let us discuss that. Okay, in our next slide. Now in the story, what did Raman see, children? Yes, Raman had seen 10 colorfully wrapped lollipops, isn't it? And how did Sheila feel? She felt very much excited. When she felt very excited, children, when she was going for the picnic, isn't it? And why was Sheila very much worried? Yes, she was worried because monkeys might steal the bananas which her mother has given, isn't it? And what did Ratan hear? Yes, he heard a little girl cry. And what did Mani taste? Yes, Mani tasted ice cream, isn't it? So now from that story we have seen what did Raman see and Sheila felt and Ratan hear and Mani taste. So here some sensory details we have seen. Now let us move on to the next one. Now see the tale of Peter Rabbit. Now you need to pause my video, children. You read the whole lesson and keep in your mind the detail. You have to underline the details that tell us about what Peter Rabbit saw, what did he hear, and what did he smell, and how did he feel, and what did he taste. So all these details you keep in your mind, and while reading you have to underline them. Is this clear, children? So pause my video and do this activity also. Now let us discuss the sensory details. Okay, in the story The Tale of Peter Rabbit. So what did Peter Rabbit see, children? Yes, Peter Rabbit, he had seen Mr. McGregor's garden, and also he had seen an old mouse. And what was that mouse carrying? Yes, it was carrying peas and beans to its family. Yes, and Peter Rabbit had also seen Mr. McGregor when he was digging onions. Okay, yes. Now what did Peter Rabbit hear? Yes, he heard a sound, that is scratch. So when did he hear, children? Yes, he went to tool shed, isn't it? So there in the tool shed he heard the noise of a hoe. Hoe is a garden tool. So that noise, how it was, scritch, it was scritch, scratch, scratch, isn't it? Now, coming to Peter Rabbit, how did he feel? So he felt very much scared. When did he feel very scared? Yes, he was scared when Mr. McGregor was chasing him, calling out thief, isn't it? That time he felt very scared and he was unable to find out the way to go back to his house or find out the gate. Okay, from where he had come, that route he forgot, and he felt very much scared, and he was moving here and there in Mr. McGregor's garden. Okay, now coming to smell. I think in the story nowhere it is there about smell, children. Okay, you can leave that. Now coming to taste. What did Peter Rabbit taste? Yes, he has tasted the vegetables which are there in Mr. McGregor's garden, isn't it? So what are the vegetables which he had tasted? Yes, radish, lettuce, beans, and also parsley also he tasted, children. That is coriander. Okay, so is this clear? Now coming to in this story, you have come across the sensory details where Peter Rabbit experiences. Okay, now did these details help you to understand the story? Yes, very good. Yes, these details help you to understand the story in a better way, because you can experience Mr. Peter Rabbit. He's experiencing all the different events, so that you can imagine, isn't it? And do you think, children, without these particular sensory details, will the story be, will you be able to understand the story? No. Yes, you will not be able to understand the story well, because the story would have been very, very boring without these sensory details. And you won't be able to imagine Peter's experience. So Peter is experiencing all this. So you won't be able to imagine his experience. Okay, children. Now we will, I think, is it clear now? Now we'll move on to workbook. Okay. Now open your workbook to page number 16, children. S-2, sensory details. Now see the first one. Read each of the given description and write if it describes what a character has seen, heard, smelled, tasted or felt. Now first one. Radha went to the market and noticed that the green brinjal sack was kept on top of the carrot sack. So sack is a bag, children, a big one. She also saw many shopkeepers standing outside their shops, calling out the prices of the vegetables. In the distance, she noticed a fish stall selling all kinds of fish. So here, what it is, children, what does the Radha, that character, has seen, whether she has seen, heard, smelled, tasted or felt, what will come? Yes, very good, seen. So she had seen, she had noticed, okay, she has saw many shopkeepers standing outside. So here seen comes. Next one. As Rakesh went to sleep, he heard the thunder and crawled into his sheets. He tried to sleep, but suddenly the whistling sound of the wind got louder, making Rakesh cry and run to his mother. So here, what does it describe, children, here? Yes, it describes the character, what he heard. Okay, so here you can write heard. Yes. Now next one. Sandeep was scared to go to school because he hadn't completed his homework. So he got up in the morning and complained of a stomachache. His mother did not feel sad for him and knew the reason. She was angry with him for lying and asked him to get ready to go to school. So here what it is, children? Here it is he felt. Okay. Now next one. Priya went to stop to buy a perfume for herself. As she walked by, she could smell flowers because she was in the floral section of the perfume department. So here, what does it describe about this character, Priya? Yes, she has smelled. So smelled. The last one, children. Nandana went for a walk in the park. After walking, she usually bought herself a tender coconut. She loved the taste of juice that was fresh and light coconut water. Sometimes she also went to Juice Junction and asked for her sweet lime or orange juice. as she loved their flavors. So here what does it describe about this particular character Nandana? Yes, it is that she tasted. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next one. Yes. Now the second one, children, give one example from the story The Tale of Peter Rabbit for the following senses. So for the following senses, we need to give one example from the story. Yes. Now the first one, seen. So what did Peter Rabbit see? Yes. Peter Rabbit saw Mr. McGregor when he was going to eat cucumber from his garden, isn't it? So when he was in his garden, at the time when he was eating cucumber, at the time he had seen Mr. McGregor, isn't it? So that you have to write. So what you will write? How you will write? Peter Rabbit saw Mr. McGregor when he was going to eat cucumber from his garden. Now coming to smell. So I think nowhere in the story it is mentioned about smell. So you can put a dash, children. Now next one, felt. So how did he feel? He felt very scared, isn't it? So Peter Rabbit felt scared, or he was scared when he was being chased by Mr. McGregor. Okay, so that you can write. Next, heard. Okay, heard, in the tool shed he heard, isn't it? Scritch sound. Okay, so that you can write. So how you'll write? Yes, he heard the noise of hoe, that is scritch, scratch, scratch. Now the last one, tasted. So what did he taste? He has tasted the vegetables which are there in Mr. McGregor's garden, isn't it? So you can write all the vegetables, that is Peter Rabbit tasted lettuce, then French beans, radish and parsley. Is this clear, children? Yes? Thank you.